how do you see the world having changed since the 2004 publishing of your book, Hot Commodities?
Well, the West has gotten deeper and deeper into debt and is careening off a cliff, unfortunately. You know, the 2008 setback was worse than 2002, and the 2012 or 2013 is going to be worse still because the staggering amounts of debt that have been built up in both Europe and America. So things are going to, every time we have a slowdown, an economic slowdown or recession, is going to be worse than the previous one until somebody deals with the debt situation.
Jim, do commodities look as cheap as they did 10 years ago in relation to the amount of new money that's being printed worldwide here?
Well, 10 years ago they were, gold was $300 or $400 a share, an ounce. Oil was way down. No, so commodities have certainly gone up. You're exactly right that staggering amounts of money have been printed, but first we have to look at supply and demand. The main things for commodities are supply and demand. Now, printing money, of course, increases the demand, but no, I wouldn't say they're as cheap. They're still cheap, certainly given all that's happened in the world. And I mainly long commodities and currencies because if the world economy gets better, commodities will do well because of the shortages that are developing. If the world economy does not get better, raw materials are the place to be because you protect yourself in real assets, and the way things will work is that governments will print more money if things don't get better. It's the wrong thing to do, but that's all they know to do. So they will print money, and the only way to protect yourself is silver or natural resources, raw materials. It's a lot like the 1970s. In the 1970s, stock markets and economies around the world did nothing but commodities went through the roof. We're having that kind of period again.
Jim, in the past you've mentioned that you've been looking for the right spot to get short the U.S. Treasury market. Are we getting closer to that point in your opinion?
Well, of course we're getting closer. They keep going up. I'm not there. I'm not there yet. That doesn't mean it's not time. It doesn't mean it's not past time. I'm using that very good at market timing. But no, that's one of the bubbles in the world that's developing. The bubbles have a habit of going on longer than any rational person would think they could last.
And what are your thoughts on the potential remonetization of gold, silver, whether formally or just informally?
Well, if the U.S. fell into the sea tomorrow, people would grab for something. I guess they'd grab for the euro if it were tomorrow, but if it were next year, the euro may have its own even worse problems. So at that point, they might grab for gold or silver out of desperation. I'm not sure that would work either. The gold standard we've tried many times in history, and it's never quite worked. It's always been debased by the politicians or had various and sundry problems of its own. But gold, they may try gold again. I would doubt it. I think they would probably try a basket of currencies first, or maybe even a basket of commodities first, before they try just the gold standard. Unless we have a major sudden crisis, then that may be all that people can think of. I own gold. I own gold and silver. I'm not selling them, and if they go down, I'm going to buy more. But I don't think monetization is going to be on the cards anytime soon.
Jim, whether it be on the long or the short side, what do you see as being maybe the one or two most undervalued trades in the world right now?
Well, I guess Myanmar is perhaps the single most undervalued trade. Myanmar is a state where China was in December of 1978 when they said this didn't work, we've got to try something new. Myanmar is just now doing that. If I could find ways to put money to work in Myanmar, I would never have to invest again as long as I live, because then I'd have 30 or 40 or 50 years of a long bull market. So I guess Myanmar. I guess the answer to your question is to go long Myanmar. It's difficult for me because I'm American. It's difficult for me, right now, America, since we live in the land of the free, everybody else is pouring into Myanmar. Us poor Americans who live in the land of the free are not allowed to invest there.
Wow.
Yet.
All right. Well, Jim Rogers, thank you so much for sharing your comments. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you. Bye-bye.